Hello everyone. So today we are going to build a tic-tac-toe website in under 5 minutes using ChatGPT. So our goal is to use ChatGPT to generate some code which we can use to build a tic-tac-toe game and preferably be able to play with it. So for this, you need to create an account on ChatGPT website and then sign into the ChatGPT account. And then you need to search for a prompt which is how to build a tic-tac-toe game website with code. And once you enter the prompt, it will start generating the content for the tic-tac-toe game, and in some time it will generate the code. So once the code is generated, it will look something like this, and the entire code is what is printed out here. So it will first print out all the steps, then the HTML code, the CSS code, and the JavaScript code as well. So what we need to do is we need to copy the HTML code here and add it into an HTML file. So I'm using CodePen here. So in the CodePen, we'll add the HTML code. Then similarly, we can copy the CSS code from here and paste it into the CSS part. And after that, in case of JavaScript code, sometimes what happens is it stops in between. So you might need to add a continue to continue the code into the next prompt, and then it will print out the rest of the code into the JavaScript syntax like this. And then we can copy the entire code and paste it in the JavaScript part of the section. And this is how the code looks like initially. So there is a issue with the width part, so we can increase the width to around 305px or 306px, and it should work a little better. And we can remove this border as well. So this looks like a proper tic-tac-toe game. And now as you can see, we have a tic-tac-toe game here, and we can add x and zeros. And if we go on adding x in the vertical column, then x wins get printed out, and this is how the tic-tac-toe game works. So coming to the code part, we have cells with IDs from 0 to 8, which are the actual individual cells from 0 to 8. Like there are 9 cells in a tic-tac-toe game, so each cell contains an ID and your div class. Then in the CSS part, we have a board with some width and some height, and we have the individual cells with 100px width and 100px height, and then we have the border for each cell, and that is the overall CSS code. And in case of JavaScript, what we do is we first have symbols which contains the x and 0 symbols. Then current player is assigned the x symbol because first we need to add the x symbol. Then each of the cells are accumulated in the cells array using document.querySelector_r. Then the message that gets printed like x wins and 0 wins is added into the message variable, and there is a reset button to reset the game. Now, once the cells are clicked, we have a cell click function. And in the cell click function, we first try to check if there is a win. If there is not a win, then we check for a draw. And if there is no draw, then we switch the player. Now, what happens in switch player is we switch the symbols from x to 0. That is, if x is clicked, then in the next click, O will be clicked. So that is the switch pair function. So after that, we check for a win, and the check for the win is simple. So if we are like, if you are playing tic-tac-toe game, we know that for wins, the possible combinations are horizontal 3 lines with same symbols, or vertical 3 lines with same symbols, or diagonal with same symbols. So for that, what we do is we add those winning combinations here, like 0, 1, 2 is horizontal first line, 3, 4, 5 is the second row, and so on and so forth, then columns, and then the diagonals. And we check the conditions that whether the array conditions of x or 0 are similar to this winning combination, and if it is, then we return true, and if it is not, then we return false. In case of draw, we check whether the all the cells are filled, and if the uh, all cells are filled, then we print out that it is a draw. And then we have the disable cells, so that once the game is finished, we don't allow click on the cells. And then we have the reset button, which is supposed to reset the game to the individual text content, and on individual cell click, the cells are reset. So that is the overall working of the tic-tac-toe game, and hope you found it useful. So the prompt that you can use is simple, which is steps to build a tic-tac-toe game website with code, and the code will be generated for you. So that's it from my end for today. Thank you and have a nice day. Goodbye.